Brooks, and I am here representing Mr. Big Head Reads and Your Life Productions. And I'm super excited as we are launching our Black History Month initiative called Black Brilliance Now. That's right, Black Brilliance Now. And we are interviewing luminaries and artists and Black entrepreneurs and educators that deserve to be highlighted throughout this beautiful month. And I'm starting the month off right with one of my favorite dear fellow Capricorns, the one and only beautiful Brittney Q Hill. Come on in here. What's up, Brittney?
What's up? How are you? Thank you for having me.
I am great now that I get to see you. It's been such a long time. How has life been treating you? The new year, all of these things.
It's been a minute. It has. Life has been great. The new year is off to a great start. I have no complaints. It's busy. We are up and running. So yeah, I'm excited for what the year holds.
That's awesome. Listen, this is a new initiative, Black Brilliance Now. And when I hear the word brilliance, I think of you.
Oh.
And I know that a lot of people may not know the ins and out and the intricate details of who you are. But if you would take a few moments to just share a bit of your background and your journey to where you are now.
Yeah, of course. So I'm Brittney Q Hill. I am an actress, producer, entertainment host, and I have my own platform called Faith and Fame. It's all about bridging the gap between faith and entertainment. I've been in entertainment for almost 20 years. I feel like I'm telling my age.
Wow.
But yeah.
You don't look a minute past 20.
Thank you. I'll take, black don't crack. But yeah, almost 20 years. I started when I was 17 modeling. I was doing print and runway. I was doing New York Fashion Week, LA Fashion Week. And then when I went to college, I got bit by the acting bug. I was doing commercial work, and I was taking an easy class. It was for my elective courses. It was acting 101. And I remember being in the middle of a scene. I got bit by the bug and I was like, this is what I want to do. And so after I graduated from UNC Charlotte, I moved back to LA, where I'm from, to launch my career in entertainment. So I've done TV, movies, stage plays, tons of national commercials. I've worked with the likes of Denzel Washington, Magic Johnson,
wow,
to name a few. And now I am here in Atlanta doing the same thing. And I also have the privilege and the honor of coaching other actors as well.
You just skimmed through that like it's just normal. Like, oh, I just work with Denzel Washington and just to name a few. Can you just elaborate just a little bit more about what it took for you to take, what courage it took for you to go to LA and you said you was bitten by the acting bug. Can you talk more about what led you truly into acting? Was it someone who motivated you? Was it movies or, a friend or classes? What got you there?
Yeah. So to be honest, when I was in school, I was studying to be a live reporter. I thought I was going to be on the news. And so when I took my first acting course, to be honest, I took it because I thought it was going to be an easy A. I was like, acting 101, that sounds easy. And so I had no intentions whatsoever of becoming an actor. But again, once I got bit by the acting bug, I made a decision. I gave myself 1 year to save up, and I decided to move back to LA to pursue it full time. Like you said, it's not an easy feat. It's just a matter of being relentless and making a decision and sticking to it and doing whatever it takes to get there. So it wasn't easy. It hasn't been an easy journey. I'm not going to paint the picture that it has. It's definitely been many trials, many tribulations, but it's been rewarding nonetheless.
So how would you define success, and has it changed over the years of your career?
It has. What I learned about working in entertainment, you have to learn to be a queen of all trades, if you will. I went with the exclusive idea that I was going to be an actor only, and I realized that you have to kind of learn different sides of the business. And so success to me is finding genuine joy and peace with what you're doing. And for me, it's about making an impact. Even if it's just one person, if I'm impacting somebody and leaving somebody different, better, transformed, a better human being, to me, that's success.
Absolutely. You said a little bit about Faith and Fame. Could you speak a little bit more to that, and how did that come about in your repertoire and resume?
Yeah, for sure. So Once I realized that I wanted to work in entertainment, one of the things that I kept running into, and still to this day, I still get some of the same concerns or questions or side eyes, but I grew up in the church. And so I am
Okay.
a strong woman of faith, always have been, always will be. And one of the major hurdles I kept running into in entertainment was being told I had to make a decision to choose whether I was going to be a woman of God full time or serve the secular space. And for me, I've
Mm,
always felt like God has called me to both. I don't believe that I have to choose either one. I believe that He's called me to take dominion over both faith industry and the entertainment industry. And so creating Faith and Fame was a means for me to bridge the gap between the two, to show that you can do and be both.
absolutely. Good examples of that also is you mentioned Denzel Washington and like Angela Bassett and Courtney B. Vance, and these are individuals who are excelling and would some would consider the goats in the industry, but has always centered their faith, and is wonderful to hear that in our generation that folks are continuing right that light and shining it, because oftentimes we're known as the godless generation,
Right.
right? And so but hearing that from you, and again, you're beautiful, so it's great because it's like you ain't got to be churchy and
No,
crusty
you
looking,
don't.
right?
And it's interesting because I did some work in ministry. And at the time, the pastor that I was under, I remember him telling me the same thing. He said, you have a strong presence. You sound like Priscilla Shire. I don't know if you guys are familiar. He said, you sound like,
Absolutely.
right? He says, you sound like Priscilla Shire, but you give off Megan Good. When
Watch it, preacher, watch
you know what
it.
I'm saying? And when he said it, I know he meant it to be offensive, but I took that as a compliment. You don't have to be
Mm,
crusty to be a woman of God. You can still carry yourself and look like somebody, because we have to remember that we are still representations of Christ. And if oftentimes people are first attracted to your physical appearance, once you
right.
engage in conversation, you can take them on whatever ride you want to take them on after that.
Wow, period.
Period.
Absolutely. Could you could you share a little bit about your balance with professional and personal life, especially considering your demanding work? Now, I stalked you, okay? And you on if you're not on a set, you taking pictures somewhere and or you're traveling. So I'm just very curious to know, like, how do you balance the two in your
Yeah.
life?
I don't know if balance is such a thing. I've always said
Okay.
that something is always going to take precedence over the other. But for me, how I operate is there's a season for everything. There will be a season
Mm,
where I'm completely devoted to Faith and Fame. There's a season where I might be filming a movie, and that particular season requires me to be on set all the time. But what I will say, whether I'm on set or doing something in ministry or traveling, my family will always be paramount.
wow.
My family will
Okay.
always be paramount. So I guess that's my way of balancing, have fun and work hard, play hard, but also make time for family.
Make time for family. And it sounds like where's your family located?
My family's in North Carolina. That was also
And,
a reason why I moved from LA back to the East Coast, to be a little bit closer.
and has that decision altered your gigs? Like have you found that Atlanta has really treated you well as a black actress
Oh,
seeking roles? Like, or
absolutely.
would you say that LA was more profitable or more successful?
I feel like LA prepared me for coming to Atlanta, but honestly, Atlanta has welcomed me with open arms. It's been a beautiful
Mm,
transition. People always are shocked to hear that in the last decade that I spent in LA, I've booked more work in Atlanta in the past 3 years versus that decade in LA. So
wow.
yeah, the
Wow.
work is here for us as Black actors, and it's not just Black work. A lot of the projects I've done has been on diverse sets. So it's great
Hmm.
for me.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I believe your recent Lifetime movie, right, where you were the leading
I
lady,
was, yes.
right? Could you speak a little bit more to that project and how you navigated that? Because that was a pretty diverse set from what I gathered.
Yeah, it was a pretty diverse
Mhm.
set. So I've done a few projects with Lifetime. This was my third, and this
Okay.
was my first feature film as number one on the call sheet. And honestly, I think that just came from I think that came from
Yeah.
relationship building, because that movie was actually not something that I had to be pitched for by my agents. Actually, the casting director reached out to me and said, "Hey, we got this role. We think that you'd be great for. Would you mind putting it on tape?" And so, yeah, I think that just came from doing great work and establishing beautiful relationships. And yeah, it was on set. The cast was diverse. It were Black actors, white actors. It was there were Hispanic actors. It was pretty amazing. So,
That's amazing.
yeah.
I'm curious also to know, are there specific individuals or movements within Black history that has inspired or influenced your work and your drive to want to continue in the entertainment industry?
Yeah, I would say the individual that comes to mind is Maya Angelou, believe it or not.
What?
No,
Okay, say more about that.
I'll tell you why. When you hear the name Maya Angelou, most people will often go straight to author, poet, amazing wordsmith, which are all accurate things that she represents. But what a lot of people don't know is that Maya Angelou was also the first Black woman director in Hollywood.
What?
She was.
Come on, you better drop Black history trivia on us.
She was, yeah. And I was just talking about this
I
with
did
a
not
friend.
know
I
that.
love acting, producing, and being both in front of and behind the camera. But a long-term goal of mine is to actually direct. So I look at Maya Angelou as the example for that, for sure.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Yep.
And as a director, just to build on that, what type of stories would you want to tell?
Oh man.
Mhm.
Anything that focuses on a strong Black woman, right?
Okay.
And
Okay.
let me just emphasize, by strong Black woman, I don't mean having to carry the weight of the world on her shoulders, right?
Yeah.
But showing her in a stronger light, meaning, she's a family woman, she's a woman of faith, she's a businesswoman. She can juggle multiple things without having to be seen as strong all the time. I want to just
Absolutely.
Black women in a different way. I want to show Black women being able to be soft. We talk about being in the soft life now and always having to struggle. So I just want to, I guess, demonstrate a better representation of the strong Black woman.
I love that. I love that. What advice would you share to a young Black woman or just a young Black man aspiring to make a difference in the entertainment industry?
I would say, especially right now, to own your Blackness. And the reason
Wow.
why,
Say that again.
own your Blackness. It's again,
Come on.
own your Blackness, especially in entertainment. Things have changed drastically now versus 10 years ago, where some of the hurdles that I've dealt with is a lot of colorism. 10 years ago in LA, they I guess would value the light-skinned woman with green eyes and the long, European straight hair. And so I remember in LA having to conform to that. I don't think I ever wore my natural hair the entire time I lived in LA. I always had a weave or a wig because I felt like that was the representation of beauty. Fast forward now, casting wants to see the ethnic woman. They want us in our natural hair, our kinks and our coils. I can tell you that every role I've booked in the past 3 years here has been me rocking natural hair. It hasn't been the weaves that I don't think they really care for it too much. So I said all that to say, own your Blackness, the kinks, the curls, the brown skin, because, realistically, we have people now who are spending thousands of dollars going under the knife, putting their lives at stake to look like Black women. And so I said all that to say, we need to own our Blackness. Black is beautiful, and we don't have to conform to what society deems as beautiful anymore.
Absolutely. I love that. Centering Blackness, celebrating Blackness,
Yes.
representing Blackness, owning Blackness, but not conforming, and also centering our stories, right? And the authentic side of our stories and our lives. And it's not always peaches and cream. It's not always beautiful, right? I'm thinking about Ava DuVernay, like folks who are, using their platform and who may not get the major, studios or that's in Hollywood, but they have the drive to talk about these stories that are untold, right?
Exactly.
So I just came from the movies a few days ago watching Origins, by the story about Isabel Wilkerson, excuse me, who wrote the book Cast. And I was just like, I read the book years ago, but I never would have thought someone would make a movie out of it, because it's not a book that you will necessarily see in a motion picture, And so But the beauty of it and the way that Ava shot that movie, really representing the beauty of Black women. And I was sharing with a friend that because Niecy Nash Betts is in the movie, and there's a moment in the movie where she hugs the main character who was Isabel Wickerson. She was Isabel Wickerson's cousin,
Mhm.
and they hugged each other. And the way that the camera was position, it made you feel like you were in the hug.
Presented too, yeah.
You could feel it because Black women, y'all hug. You hug the whole body.
An embrace.
Yeah, that embrace. Like I feel you. It was so beautiful. So you saying that really, really affirms me in many ways. And I'm not in the industry, but just really thinking about in my own field, how can I uphold and own and center Blackness in all that I do? So what a wonderful, wonderful piece of advice. And as we kind of near to the end of this interview, I'm interested in knowing, as we celebrate Black History Month, what would you want your legacy to be as we celebrate your beautiful Blackness and all of the things that you have done so far? And you're not done yet. You're just getting started.
Just getting started, baby.
Listen, we just cranking the car up.
Yeah.
We just cranking it up.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to know that many, many years down the road, when you look back and you say, I'm glad this is what my legacy is, what would you name that to be?
Wow, Tate, that's such a great question. That's a beautiful question. I would like my legacy to be, well, I'll say I would like to be remembered as someone who loved people well, someone that helped people discover their own purpose. It's not just about me. Even when I'm coaching or on set, I want to be able to pour into other people and help them find some deeper sense of self. And ultimately, beyond Blackness, I would love for people to grow deeper in their faith. For sure. I would say that that would be what I would like to be remembered by, and my impact and lasting impression on the world.
Absolutely. And I will say that you're doing a wonderful, splendid job doing it so far. As long as I've known you, and we don't even, y'all don't get it twisted. We don't be hanging out like that as much as I would like to, but we live in different states.
Yeah.
But I watch you on social media, and you are unapologetically Black woman and Christian. And what I love most about you is that you have not changed. You have been humble and stable and someone who is reliable.
Wow.
And I appreciate you for that. So in the spirit of Black History Month, I'm celebrating you because you have remained so consistent. And, I have a beautiful young little niece who's 8 years old that can look up to someone like you to say, wow, if Brittney can do it, I can too. Wow. You know what I'm saying? With my kinky hair and my brown skin.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much
for
saying that.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward. So how can folks keep in contact with you? You got any projects coming out down the line? How can folks tap into Brittney Q Hill?
Yes. So my latest movie just dropped. You can stream that on Lifetime on the network or on demand. It's called My Killer Reunion. Please go check it out. It's my biggest project to date. You can also follow me on all social media at Brittney Q Hill, as well as my brand page at Faith and Fame TV. And I'll definitely follow and interact back.
You heard it directly from her mouth. Y'all better hop on it now, because when she is posted on Shade Room because she's getting her Oscar award, don't y'all want to be on the train and be like, oh, I've been on Brittney. If you're gonna be on Brittney, exactly, get on it now. You know what I'm saying? So I adore you. I appreciate you. Happy Black History Month.
Happy Black History Month to you too. Thank you so much for this time. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And thank you all for tuning in to Mr. Big Head Reads and Your Life Studios. We'll be back next week with another episode. Peace.